Hi everyone, good afternoon. I want to talk about celebration today, or more for me, more struggling with celebrating. I don't know. The people who follow me on Instagram have seen that recently I've been trying to celebrate a little more. But celebrating for me always means having like a nice drink, and I don't really want to connect celebrating to drinking alcohol for multiple reasons, and also I don't really want to. Hi, Ashley. I also don't really want to connect it to other unhealthy habits, like eating like tons of cake and stuff like that, or Ben and Jerry's or what have you. So celebration. The reason that I got to this topic, or I didn't even think of this topic, but my co-editor, my co-writer, Sheena Mary did, because yesterday we were talking about the fact that we've done a lot this year, but we don't really celebrate, and we constantly get the feeling that we're not, because we constantly have the feeling that we're not doing enough, we're not working hard enough, and at the same time, like doing all this stuff can become a little bit like a drag. Like the fun gets out of it because you're just constantly working, and we both struggle with this. Like you have the to-do list, but the to-do list will just keep on. Like I have one to-do list, like a digital one, and I just keep adding to it. So it never ends. Like it never ends. And to give you an example from my life, my brother owns a pub, and a lot of his staff has been really ill lately. So he's been working a lot, and he's the one in charge, and the other people who can be in charge, they got ill as well. So he had to be there like all the time. So next week he has like 4 days off, because finally people are coming back to work. And he was like, well, so the Netherlands is a very small country. So if we have to travel like an hour, we're like, oh my God, that's so far. So one of our aunties lives an hour away. So like our entire family lives, what's the max? I think 10 minutes drive away. We're very privileged like that. So one of our aunties, she lives like an hour away. I think by car it's 45 minutes or so if you just keep on driving. And he's going to meet her, but when we meet her, we tend to meet like in the middle. Hey Sandra, hi babe. We tend to meet like somewhere in the middle, so that both of us only have to drive for like 30 minutes. I mean, like we're really spoiled because everything is so close for us. We're really spoiled. So he was like, okay, so but next week on Wednesday, join us because we're meeting. And I was like, well, I have to teach. So I was thinking, okay, I have to teach from 9 to 11. Okay, so what time are you meeting? And he was like, 1:30. So I was thinking, okay, so 1:30, that means I have to go home, and then immediately have to meet him somewhere to get in his car so we can drive there. And that just made me think, okay, that means that I won't do anything productive that day. I mean, aside of the teaching, of course, but for my own business, for example, I won't do, or for my writing, I won't do anything productive. So I'll have to do everything I want to do at night, which is my writing time. So I was like, I have to think about that. So I texted him. I was like, okay, but that would mean that I won't have any. Yeah, that would mean I don't have any time to do something useful. So and he texted me, yeah, which is great. I think you could use that. And I was like, damn it. And he's right, of course. But for me, it's like, but it's a Wednesday. But that doesn't really matter for me because I've been working weekends for as long as I can remember. And I try to do weekends. Like I try to do weekends again, but it's not really working, especially in this period where there was a lot of grading. So of course my brother is totally right. And even though I knew he was right, I still looked up, okay, so what happens if I just, after teaching, I jump like on a train to the city where we're meeting. I could have an hour of time to myself in some coffee place somewhere, and I could write maybe or get some work done. So that is how just to give you a little insight into how my brain works. I really want to get some work done every day. So how do I get to celebrating? Well, of course, if you're slightly workaholic like I am, taking a break and just sit with what you've accomplished, that's a really difficult thing, because once you've finished a project, something else is happening. So you can just go on, like you can, and I do go on. So we were talking about yesterday. We were talking. Yeah, I know. Yeah, thanks, son. So we were talking about it yesterday. So how can we celebrate? Because the reason why we were talking about celebrating is because yesterday I requested the submission form for the Bisexual Book Awards, because, as you know, we got the anthology on by and about bisexual authors out. Thank you, son. Thank you. Out on the when was it? The 23rd of September, and then recently the director of the Bisexual Book Awards emailed me to ask me whether we were planning on bringing the book out in paperback before the end of the year. Because if there was going to be a paperback, then we could enter the contest, and that was just I'm never gonna get over that. I mean, that's a brilliant thing. It's like the whole reason behind this anthology is to become visible. And what happened? We got visibility. So the awards are in New York. So this is actually a big thing. And when I read this, it was 5 a.m. So I just was like, oh, okay. So I reread it again when I woke up later again, and then we were happy about it. And then I set Sheena to work so she could work on the format of the paperback, and I set the cover artist to work, and now they're working together. And I actually that night I had a drink in my brother's pub. I had 2 drinks. But the thing is, and that's a struggle for me and Sheena Mary, is that because we have a lot of things to celebrate. Like also we started co-writing this year, and even though the second book is not coming along as quickly and as good in terms of quality, but also the story as the first book, we are doing it, and we started it hoping it will be fun. And hoping it wouldn't kill our friendship, and it's not. So it's all good. But what we focus on is, okay, this is taking much longer than we expected. Why is the second book not working? Oh God, I hope the third book is working. We have a production schedule. We need to get serious about this. We never celebrated the completion of the draft that we sent to beta readers. We never celebrated the fact that almost all of our beta readers loved the book and were like, when do we get to read the second? And so we sent them the second draft of a book, and we both never written romance. And we never celebrated this. And we were talking, we think one of the reasons we don't celebrate it is because we don't live in the same country. I mean, we don't even live on the same continent. She's in the middle of nowhere in Canada, in some dry community, so we cannot even have like a Skype call and raise our glasses and have champagne or something. And for some reason, that's why we skip celebrating. And yesterday we were just like, we need to stop doing that. We need to bring the fun back into all the stuff that we're doing, individually, but also very much together. And I was also wondering. So she said. So we were talking about this yesterday, and she was like, just ask your audience, how do we do this? How do you celebrate, especially if you're not, so not just if you're like a workaholic, like I am, and she's as well. but very much like, how do you celebrate when you're not together on the same continent? Like, what is a celebration for you? Especially remembering that I don't really want, like, open a bottle of wine every time I get something done, because the last time I showed someone what I do in a random day, they were like, you get more done in one day than I get done in an entire month. So if I open a bottle of wine for everything I accomplish, that's not gonna work, because I get a lot of shit done, and maybe because I get so much done, maybe that is why I don't think it's anything special. Like the moment we got that anthology out, I was like, okay, so what is going to be the next anthology? What is the next project? How are we going to do that? Who are we going to invite as a guest editor? When are we going to do it? How are we going to fit it in? You hear me? We never sat down and just said, and that day, like the publishing day, that was crazy because something went wrong. And if only we could have, like that Sunday night, we should have just sat, for me, Sunday night is her like lunchtime. We should have just sat, have a good Skype, drink a cup of tea together. We should have done that and just talk and chat and have fun and laugh and just discuss what went wrong and just laugh about it. And we didn't. So if you have any suggestions, specifically for us, like how we could celebrate together, seeing that we're not in the same, like we're not even close together. We're 7 hours apart as well. That, like, I'd love to hear your suggestion, but also this is just me trying to remind you of the fact that it's so important to celebrate. Like, doesn't matter how big the win is. Like, if you finish the first draft of a book, the second draft of a book, even if you finish a chapter, like everything is a celebration. If you finally get your book cover back from your cover artist and you love it, that should be a celebration. It's a milestone. It's another milestone. It's another step to where you want to be. And the funny thing is, I tell so many of my clients that they need to start celebrating, especially the ones who come to me and go like, I'm just working all the time, by the time this book comes out, I'm already writing the other one, and then I'm editing, and then I have to reply to 16 emails from different cover designers, and it's just like, I need to get those books out because I know I need so many books to reach that many amount of money. So I'm just going on, and I recognize that, but for some reason it's so easy for me to tell them, but you need a break, you need to relax, you need to have fun with this, you need to invite fun back into your work. And I know it's with everything. Like, it's so easy to tell others how to do it right. So this is me being very open and honest about the fact that I'm a huge workaholic. In case you weren't, like, I'm sure most of you were aware already, and that I need to find ways to not bring the fun back into my work, because I really love what I do. So that's not the issue for me. But just to sit still sometimes and just revel in the fact that I get so much stuff done and that I get to work with so many brilliant people. Like right now, I know someone who's watching as well is preparing a pitch for me to write a series of books together, which is amazing. I mean, it's just knowing that someone wants to work with you. That's just such a compliment. And she also, that's gonna be like, I don't even know if I'm supposed to say this, and I know she's a video editor, so if I'm not supposed to say this, I'll send this video to her and I'll have her cut it out. But we're also brainstorming a podcast together. So these are all brilliant things, and like I would love to sit with that more and just revel in the fact that I get to know so many great people and they all want to work with me. And of course, the funny thing is that because they all want to work with me, I just get more work, so I work more. So it's sort of like, maybe I'm just also caught up in that cycle a little bit, but it's just what I wanted to tell you today, that it's so important to do that celebration. And whether that celebration means you sit on your porch with a beer, you talk to a friend about what you did, what you accomplished, you take a long bath, you buy a magazine and just spend the night on your couch, with your blanket, flipping through it. you buy yourself something nice, a new book probably, anything, like anything to, and that's one of the, maybe that's one of the reasons why it's so easy for me to become stuck in this, because I always remembered when I was a student that loads of students had like little tricks to get themselves through the reading. Like if they read 20 pages, they get like a Mars bar. And when they get through 40 pages, they get to have a beer. And so they have this sort of like system, award system for themselves. I never needed that because I'm very disciplined, so I just do it. And I think maybe that might be one of the reasons why I don't use that right now. Like I don't have to bribe myself into getting the work done, but maybe I should start trying that. Just say, okay, this is a big thing. If you finish that, you can buy that book. I mean that should definitely work for me. But that's the funny thing. It's like I don't need that. I don't need that to do the work. I'll do the work anyway. Now I just need to find a way to do the work of self-care more and celebrate more. So that was it for me today. I'm just hoping someone has a good idea for me and Sheena to celebrate together. Because we need it, and we don't. I mean, that's the thing about being separated, like, and especially when time zones are part of that, becomes really difficult. And maybe the solution is very easy, and I'm sure some of you have dealt with this. So let me know. Okay, so celebrate. It's part of the self-care, and I think it will ensure you, it will ensure, and it will help you. Keep that joy in your work. Okay, that was it for me. Oh, Sandra. Yeah, yes, exactly. I don't need work discipline. I need fun discipline. Yes, I need... is there a planner for that? Is there a planner for... is there like a planner for people who forget to do fun in their day? Maybe I should look into that. Okay, thank you, Sandra. That's a really, we could probably, Sandra is one of my healers, by the way. So maybe we can work on this, Sandra. She's fabulous. You should really check her out. Okay, talk to you later. Bye-bye.